Hi YouTube. This is Britta Trades, aka Brittany. I know it's been like a really long time, but I had a lot of things I needed to get together, had a lot of planning I had to do, and turns out it took me about a year to get it all together. But here we are. And how I want to start my first video basically is I just kind of want to do like a read kind of reaction kind of video. It's about Lord. So this is a future Brittany. Sis, what was okay? Unless y'all like the Bonnet Chronicles, like you like the Bonnet look, I might keep going with it. But I was sitting here trying to push this back like it was hair. But I'm gonna talk about it later again. I'm gonna cut a lot of this out, unfortunately, because his video was just so long, and I just had to fix a lot of it. But keep doing your thing, girl. 1 a.m. I'm in my bonnet because I just twisted up my hair and I just had a fail of a first video. So what we're gonna be reacting to is basically of like a kind of like a review, but this is by, I can't really say his YouTube name because it's his whole name, but the video is called Lovecraft Country and the Black Race.
Craft, and it's called on the creation
Hey.
and we're gonna
Oh my god.
Google this right quick.
Ugh. I'm not trying to be like a fluffy cute like YouTube channel or whatnot, but when you're a small channel you can get knocked down before you even get up. Like, you know what I mean? Like with anything, like it's starting a business, getting more active on Facebook, anything. Like you gotta be careful.
It's a 1912 poem of H.P. Lovecraft, and don't worry, this is gonna be a good episode tonight.
No, already making me anxious because it's sideways.
From a hectograph poem created to H.P. Lovecraft in the Howard P. Lovecraft collection at Brown University, this is the poem that is well known to be H.P. Lovecraft's.
I'm gonna try to edit that out. But what's going on? Why is it sideways? Oh my gosh. I feel like I'm back like in 2003 when like people couldn't flip the video. Like it could only like stay in portrait mode or like standard. And this is like irking my soul. But okay.
1912 on the creation of. When long ago the gods created earth in Jove's fair image, man was shaped at birth. The beasts for lesser parts were next designed, yet were they too remote from humankind to fill the gap and join the rest to man. The Olympian host conceived a clever plan. A beast they wrought in semi-human figure, filled with vice and this is from the 1912 work of H.P. Lovecraft. See, H.P. Lovecraft was a very strange, eerie man. And
Wait, so you mean to tell me you're gonna do like a review? He did say though, like I'll give him that much. He did say that it wasn't about the show. It's gonna be about what he's about to say next. But I really feel like you really can't say too much about something that you haven't seen. You know what I mean? Like if you haven't learned anything about the history of it, you haven't learned about the whole spectrum of what you're talking about. Like how can you talk about it? But anywho's,
in physical form as a meaning, and in his mental stability, because you gotta understand, if you don't know who H.P. Lovecraft is, American horror writer, novelist, whatever you want to call him, well known, very well known. His work, Lovecraft's name has been mentioned in video games, in card games, and all type of just what you would figure
is the angling is so bad. It's like his hand
is constantly doing this, and it's like it's almost like he's brushing in my face to tell me about H.P. Lovecraft. Last thing before we continue is just I'm not liking where this is going. It's already bad enough I gotta edit out that word. Um, I don't. It's almost like there's Edgar Allan Poe. He was a weird guy. He was like from the 1800s. I'm pretty sure he was pretty racist too. Like I'm pretty sure he did not like people of color. People, we still get taught his poems in school. I mean, like, I feel like there's other things to talk about. I feel like if you want to bring race into things and you want to bring up that point that, people are still mean to each other for literally no reason besides the color of somebody's skin, I feel like there's other ways to like go about that. I feel like talking about some horror writer that's been dead for who knows how long. He was born in like he was in the 1900s. Most people that was born in the early 1900s are not around anymore. Um, I just it's just making me this whole thing is just making me uncomfortable. That's basically what it is. Like I don't understand his point of reading this poem because I mean like it's not going to stop Jordan Peele from writing the show. He already wrote it.
It's known to be not fictional, but it's based on non-fictional work. So H.P. Lovecraft is a famous American horror novelist, as you've seen his work being played out on the TV series. But in his real life, he was really had a phobia of anything that in 1912. And the time that H.P. Lovecraft grew up was a very racial, segregated time. So his views on non-white people were equivalated with the times that he was in. So his views were in accuracy with the views that a lot of what we call American, or what you figure Donald Trump will call making American great again citizens. So
So you put your YouTube channel at risk by saying that word, but you don't want to say the word racist? I don't know why he had to even bring the president into this. Like, I'm not saying his name. I'm not saying nothing is going to get my channel taken down. That's all I know. Like, just like that music at the beginning, that is.
and I will view the series shortly. There was a racial fear of black people that H.P. Lovecraft played out in his horror novels. So we're going to jump right into.
That's already inaccurate. I'm not saying that this guy wasn't a friendly person when he was alive. Like, most horror writer people aren't. They're not friendly people. They write horror movie. They write horror books. Come on, but the thing is, he's trying to make it seem like every single book, aside from that poem, is somehow downplaying the black person. Like, Color Out of Space, no matter what way you try to twist that around, it's not about black people. A lot of his books aren't about that. Maybe some of his earlier writings, like this poem, definitely are, but after a while, you want to make sales, you want people to buy your stuff, you want people to actually read it. You're not getting a lot of sales selling to racist people. It just ain't. That's not how it works. Like, you gonna want to appeal to everybody because you want to make as much money as possible. That's just how economics works. So there's no way, it is already proven by Color Out of Space not being a book about black people. So I'm just trying to see, like, I don't understand what his point is. Like, I don't get what he's getting at. Is he trying to say don't watch the show because it's based off of H.P. Lovecraft novels, or to watch the show with that thought in the back of your head? Like, I don't understand what he's getting at.
It's an officer who killed Mike Brown.
So it's just kind of weird how I think what I feel the way his attitude is towards this whole topic, I feel like what he's trying to get across is that he doesn't want you to watch the show because of the origins of the show. He's kind of skipping over the fact that it's Jordan Peele's show and he wrote it, and it's basically his idea, his interpretation of what H.P. Lovecraft wrote. But that's what I feel like he's getting at. I feel like he's saying we should kind of stay away from this person because he was racist when he was alive.
Subject to a scientific scrutiny that perceives them as a danger to the master race. The story was instigated by Lovecraft's tenure in Brooklyn when he went to Brooklyn in 1924 to 1926, a time of shifting demographics greatly affected by the great migration of blacks from the South to the Midwest and to the North. In one letter, Lovecraft describes living in Brooklyn as being imprisoned in those times. Believe it or not, the Irish and the Italians were pretty much damn near deemed as worse as us.
No, they weren't. They were considered poor immigrants and not accepted in that kind of way because they weren't born here. Slaves were born here. We were born here and people still didn't like us. So I don't know what kind of comparison he's making, and he's not given any kind of sources to where it's saying that H.P. Lovecraft specifically was talking about all these different groups of people and not just black people. When you make a poem that forward, you're kind of talking about just that particular group of people. You're not really talking about Irish people, Italians, and Native American. You're not talking about that. You're literally just talking about that.
Okay, so quick correction. I know slaves were born here later. I know we were stolen from our original country and brought here, but I was talking about the slaves that were born here not being liked and all this stuff. It's just so controversial, and he's doing too much. He's probably talking about a show, but yeah.
The gods like Cthulhu, one of the famous monstrous gods in H.P. Lovecraft's novels, the one with the tentacles that look like a freaking octopus, I want to say. Like, these monsters.
I know he ain't talking about Cthulhu. Did H.P. Lovecraft write that out? I don't know. I didn't realize H.P. Lovecraft. I did not grow up in the 1900s, clearly, thank goodness. But I didn't read a lot of his stories. I didn't realize his background. I wasn't really into like that kind of horror. Like I read Stephen King and of course like Harry Potter and different novels like that. I was more into fantasy, which I think he wrote fantasy too. I think it wasn't just horror. But sis, like
damn family. These monsters, these creatures that are in HP that you're seeing for the first time, a lot of you, in Lovecraft country, these are actually known creatures, believe it or not, in our real time, in ancient times, that have been known to exist. See, Lovecraft's work was known to be fictional, but truly his work was not fictional. It was based on non-fiction accurate work, based on creatures back in the Muslim days, stories like the 101 Night, I believe the 101 Nights, Arabian Nights, 101 Arabian Nights. Books like.
So there's so much going on in this video. I'm gonna keep the very last clip in, just so you have like a ending to the video, but I'm gonna cut out a majority of it, especially the parts where he starts talking about like religion, and he's like going extremely off topic because I know some people like longer videos, but personally I don't want my first video ever to go up to be 54 minutes long. So when you're gonna notice a lot of things being chopped out, and some things aren't exactly cohesive with what I'm talking about because I cut out so much. But 20 minutes of it's gonna be missing, and I'll try to add in some more things where I'm talking about this point that was missed or something that doesn't have my input on it, I'll talk about something just to add like a couple extra minutes in. But we are not doing this whole hour long thing on this video, especially when a lot of people don't even know who this YouTuber is, and it's just my first video. So yeah.
Doing his homework, being a great writer, being a great reader as well, took a lot of what he learned from a lot of the jinns, which a lot of Christians and religious people know as demons or spirits. But what you do have to understand, to my family out there, when we're dealing in that type of world, and that
he's mixing up cultures. Like, just call it what it is. He didn't. I never read any H.P. Lovecrafts. The only thing I've seen is Color Out of Space. That's the only one I know about. That I can probably go into detail about, but I'm pretty sure he didn't refer to anything as a jinn. That is specifically Asian culture, and I can't even pinpoint down what part of Asian culture it is, because I don't want to be wrong, but people can definitely correct me on it too. But I don't see where his point is. I don't see where he's going with this. I really want to just fast forward. Like, 10 minutes is a long time.
a world that you have all but abandoned out of fear. You have to understand that no matter how much you want to run from so-called demons or type of evil, what you perceive as evil entities, this shit has been around and is still around way longer than any of us on this planet has been together added up. These beings have been hidden, have been denounced, no different than Freddy Krueger in the movies when they told these kids to take these pills so they can sleep well or just get rid of their nightmares. Let's break that down, for example. Think about that for Freddy Krueger's and nightmares. The whole town trying to suppress their nightmares because it was affecting the kids. Think about that. Since we want to go and talk about H.P. Lovecraft and Lovecraft Country and do this show now.
Has he even seen Nightmare on Elm Street? Now I can talk about that. I watched all the movies. Once they was on Shudder, I watched every single one. I watched all the Hellraiser ones too. Like, that is, has he seen the movie? That is not the reason why Freddy Krueger was a thing. There's been like some speculation, rumors that the roots, the background to that movie came from this news report where some kids were I don't know if they had some recurring nightmares or exactly the origins of it. I have to look it up again and maybe talk about another video. But basically, they didn't want to go to sleep, and they were terrified to go to sleep, and they eventually gave the kids sedatives to make them go to sleep, and they basically killed out in their sleep. They had a heart attack or something like that. But that's basically what that is for the background of it. But Freddy Krueger, like, the whole premise around that was that he was a molester when he was alive, and the parents got revenge because he didn't get no time or nothing like that, and he got revenge because of the way they killed him. I think it wasn't until the third movie they didn't take those caffeine pills or the experimental pill where it kept them awake so they can fight him. That's when it started getting more and more into fantasy with that whole series of movies. But it wasn't any taking any pills to suppress nightmares or that was not a part of the plot at all for that. It definitely had nothing to do with H.P. Lovecraft. That's a whole nother writer that wrote those stories out. Like, if you're gonna talk about something, God, this is like me trying to talk about My Little Pony or something. Like, I never played with My Little Pony. I would know more about Barbies or Bratz, but that's like me making a 30-minute video about My Little Pony. I have no information about the background of it. I never played with a My Little Pony. Like, I don't get it. I don't understand. I still don't get what his point is, what he's getting at.
And the information that I give you about Lovecraft itself.
What information have you gave us besides a
Do your research.
derogatory poem
On how deep this man went into his fear of everything that was non-white. He put it all in his books. Now his work is all over video games. His works for many years now. You're just now learning about H.P. Lovecraft.
No,
But
no.
what my show was about is for you digging deep, esoterically. You know, a lot of people claim.
Keep this, okay? That one guy I was telling you about, the alien dude that does reviews on movies and stuff. That one video he did was like a year old. People been knew about H.P. Lovecraft. People been knew about his background. People been knew how he was. He's dead now. That's why people kind of don't care that he was racist. It's like people are just taking his work and using it for their own. That's what it is. And it's not considered plagiarism because he was such a time copyright and stuff like that didn't exist. So people can use his work and twist it whichever way they kind of want because it's also fair use anyway. But okay.
Never know everything or want to know everything about everything, but once you get that truth, a lot of people fall back on the truth. You want the truth from people. You crave for that truth. You crave for the secrets. You crave to know this. I want you to do your research and see Gene Roddenberry connection to the MIT Institute.
I'm gonna do you one better. Okay. I don't like when people do this kind of stuff. I don't like when they're like, do your own research. You sound like a flat earther. Ugh. But okay. H.P. Lovecraft is the author from like way back times, and come to find out, he wasn't the friendliest person to people of color, specifically black people. Like he even has like a poem like or something like that, which it's got some very derogatory things in it. I'm not gonna go over it, but I'm just the basis of what he's getting at in this video, because I have seen like little pieces and bits of it. Like, the first time I watched it, I like my ADHD kicked in, and I was like, I want to watch something better, and I like cut it off. But he does talk about his poem, and I also learned before too. I learned from a better YouTube channel. Okay, I remember his name now. It's Elvis the Alien. I'll put his link in the description below because he does great movie reviews. But also too, what I'm splicing into this earlier clip is that don't do your research on the MIT thing. Like, if you're a Star Trek fan, you're a Star Trek fan. If you want to find out more about his background, yeah, research his name and stuff. But I just can't stand when people do this. I can't stand it when people say do your own research. You should have the sources up. You should be telling people what you're talking about. You should answer questions that don't need to be asked. Like, things like that. You shouldn't just be telling people to do the research. Out of this. But I saved you from doing research on H.P. Lovecraft. He's a book writer. People make movies about him now. He was kind of racist.
And you can maybe find out a little deeper who the Deep Space Nine really was. See, that's what my channel was all about. Family. Because at this time and age right now, you can be religious. This is not about a debate with me. You're not going to get that with me. You have free will. One thing about us being humans on this planet and the difference.
You know, that's why I notice a lot too about people that, don't like criticism, and they don't like people going against the grain of what they're saying and asking questions and stuff. They always take it as a debate. It's not a debate. It's just me asking you questions, me questioning what you're talking about, me correcting you on some things, but it's not a debate. A debate is like literally one side, other side, neither one agree. They're only going to show their points from each side and hope other people agree with them. That's what a debate is. This here, like, reactions are people telling you in the comments that what you're saying is insensitive and kind of inaccurate. That's criticism. It's not a debate.
Don't have. What's that, Corbin? We have free will. You want to go out here and cause trouble, fuck shit up? Go ahead. Well, you have to deal with what? The cause or effect. That is a unit.
Well, okay, he just kind of proved his own point wrong. Just because you have free will doesn't mean you could go about doing whatever you want, because there's consequences, there's karma. Like, even if you don't believe in anything, there's always a consequence. There's always a result to you doing something. Like, he's talking about his free will. Okay, you can do all the bad things in the world that you think are bad, but guess what? You might get locked up. You might, something bad might happen to you back. You might get your karma. You might, anything can happen. So you really don't have the gift of free will. You just think you do. Because when it comes to the human experience, we all have morals. And no matter what way you look at it, the morals don't go away. You you can gamble your whole life away, but guess what? There's morals against that. It's frowned upon. But you're allowed to do it, but guess what? There's consequences. Just like when he was talking about angels and stuff don't have that power of free will. Angels do have free will, but they know their consequences of doing, if they want to do what they want, is more dire than doing the thing that they want to do. Rules, morals, consequences, things like that. We really don't have free will. We just think we do, because humans are we're low key selfish.
Universal
High
law.
key.
If you want to go out here and do good and self.
I'm not gonna torture y'all with that. He's so off topic right now. This was supposed to be about H.P. Lovecraft and what his point was as of talking about this person. Now he's talking about like positivity and like spirituality and stuff like that, which is like a whole other topic. You can't drag people through a 31-minute video and end on that kind of note. Like, it's kind of like leaving people hanging. But I'm gonna end it there because, as you can see, this video is very long. I mean, you're probably not gonna see that because I'm pretty good at cutting things out. I feel like it's unnecessary. So yeah, I'm gonna get to working on this and hopefully try to get it out today, which would be October 9th. So hopefully I can get it out then, and consider this like reaction Fridays, reaction reads, kind of thing like that. It's gonna be late at night, I'm gonna have my bonnet on, kind of thing like that, and then we'll go from there to see how my other videos go out. So go ahead and subscribe. That's cheesy. I'm just gonna go. Bye.